How's it going, guys? This week's video is just a product release. It's actually something I've had on ZGarage.net for a while, like a month or two, and a couple of you have ordered them, and so I know you've seen them, but I wanted to make sure everybody was aware. But this is the transmission mount, the polyurethane transmission mounts that I have. It's these pieces right here. I only have two of these guys, but there are four of them in a kit, and then one of these in a kit. And basically all this does is replace the old rubber bushings in your transmission mount with polyurethane. So if you guys have ever done any transmission kind of work on your Z, you kind of might know what all this looks like. But basically you have this piece here with a rubber bushing that goes into your transmission, and it kind of bolts on something like that to the transmission itself. And then this piece specifically, you can see there's a sleeve right there, then bolts into these guys here. And then this bolts upwards into the transmission tunnel. So it's all kind of one big thing. Here are rubber bushings, and then there's a bigger rubber bushing that sits on top of this. You can kind of see the outline where it used to be right here. And that's how your transmission is basically attached to your car. So I went ahead and made some polyurethane versions of these. They're right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and do a basic tutorial on how to install them if you guys are interested in replacing your transmission mounts with some polyurethane. It is always recommended, I want to go ahead and say this right now, it is always recommended that your transmission mount is softer than your engine mounts. So if you still have the stock OEM engine mounts, it's not bad to run these per se, but it would be good to either have solid mounts or some polyurethane mounts as well. I do not offer either of those, unfortunately. And I did run polyurethane when I had OEM engine mounts, so it's not really that big of an issue, but what you do not want is a solid transmission mount and then like a polyurethane or an OEM rubber engine mount. That would just not work well. Because of the design of this, it's only got one point and it can flex pretty well. It's not too big of an issue, but keep that in mind if you are going to go with some stiffer mounts than these. Anyway, jumping back over to this, so we're going to go ahead and talk about these spherical bushings first. Nothing too crazy. But they're just, you know, press in once you're done with them. They just slip in just like that, really nice and easy. Obviously you want to put grease on all of these because we don't want any of the squeaking and degrading over the life. But what you're going to use is a 32mm hole saw. It says 32mm somewhere on there, trust me. And you're just going to go ahead and put it around here and cut the old rubber. You can see you can kind of see, it's hollow. You know, there's not like tons of, you know, stuff right there. So it's not too hard to get through it. I do recommend kind of angling it just slightly away. You can see it's closer in that direction to this point right here. Just angle this guy a little bit away so that you don't end up accidentally scratching. You can kind of see right there, I kind of scratched that one a little bit when I did this. And that's why I did it first, so that I could tell you guys what to do. But just angle it a tiny bit away, you don't have to do it crazy. And then go ahead and clean out the rest of the rubber. I use my butane torch right there to go ahead and burn a lot of this. It is kind of stinky, make sure you do it outside. And then a little bit of sandpaper. I actually wrapped sandpaper around this and then just used this with a drill to go ahead and sand it. Worked really well. You can throw a layer of paint on it if you'd like. The grease will help protect against any rust as well. But yeah, so you're going to want to put grease on the inside of here. You're going to want to go ahead and push these metal sleeves out. Put a tiny little bit of grease on the outside here just in case. And then press these guys in. Making sure you understand the orientation is that they should be going upwards. Kind of like that. Perfect. So these guys are super easy. And then if you get this guy right here, we're going to go ahead and you may notice this mount would typically have dumbbells, so I cut it. But there's a hole in the center. I've slotted mine, so yours would just be a standard hole if it is unmodified. And we're just going to go ahead and take the short guy in the middle here and put it down through there like that, so that you kind of end up with a stack up like this guy. This is obviously being pushed down, I just haven't bolted it in. And then these dudes go up through the transmission just like this. So it's a super straightforward process, really should not take you that long, so you can definitely get this done pretty quickly. If you are dropping it with your transmission in the car, make sure you support the transmission. Just pushing up right here with a jack should be fine. You just want to make sure that all the weight doesn't just fall down on you, because your engine mounts will not be able to hold the transmission coming off of the engine. So that's pretty much it, guys. It's super straightforward, super easy. These are available on the zgarage.net right now. A couple of you have already ordered them, so thank you for going and perusing and seeing that they're available. This is a kit right here. Comes with all the hardware, washers, and nuts, and everything that you need. And then these guys come in a set of 4 that look just like this, with sleeves and polyurethane, and they just push in on every single side. So 2 per side, kind of sandwiches just like that. You'll line it up and then bolt these guys through. So there are torque specifications. I'll flash it on the screen right now, as well as there are instructions that should be available underneath the product page for these on my website. But it's all very straightforward. It really is not too difficult. So I appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions or comments about these, definitely drop a comment down below. I'm always trying to make better products for the Z's, and I'm sure a lot of you guys appreciated some of the stuff. I get a lot of good comments, and I appreciate that. So let me know if you guys have any questions. Send me an email if you have anything that you need that I don't have, just on my store or my channel or anything, and I'll see what I can do for you. And I will come back next week with a video on the Z. We are working on, geez, I don't remember what it was, bumper brackets and subframe and painting a little bit. So that'll be coming up. Finally finishing out that engine bay. I had some corners that I just hadn't painted that I really wanted to get done. And then we finally got the hardware to mount the front bumper. I don't go ahead and mount it this week, but next week we should be able to get that all in. So keep tuned for that, guys. I know that I haven't been super consistent lately, but I do appreciate you guys. You keep me busy with all the orders that you put in, so I do appreciate that. So as always, guys, have a great week, and I will see you next week.